Good day, viewers, and welcome to Unity Reporters. This is another interesting update, especially for the supporters of the detained leader of IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu. Something surprising has just happened in his ongoing trial, something no one expected. This new development has caused a lot of reactions across Nigeria and even outside the country. It has also created a big setback for Justice Omotosho, making the story even more interesting to follow. A fresh twist has emerged in the long-running court battle involving the detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu. New documents filed before the Court of Appeal show that Kanu is urgently asking the appellate court to stop Justice James Omotosho of the Federal High Court from delivering judgment on his case on November 20, 2025. This date has been widely discussed across Nigeria, placing the upcoming judgment at the center of national attention. Now, Kanu wants the ruling put on hold until his appeal is heard and settled. According to the documents, Kanu believes it is risky and unfair for the Federal High Court to go ahead with its judgment, while important legal questions remain unanswered. He argues that the trial court refused to rule on serious concerns about jurisdiction, concerns his legal team raised earlier in the case. In simple terms, Kanu is saying the court did not confirm whether it even had the legal power to hear his case before moving forward. To his team, this is a major problem that cannot be ignored. Kanu also insists the trial court did not properly examine the evidence provided by the prosecution. He claims that during cross-examination, some of the witnesses' statements became weak or inconsistent, yet the court failed to address these issues. For him, this is a big blow because cross-examination is one of the strongest ways a defendant can challenge the credibility of evidence. If a witness contradicts themselves under questioning, the court must consider this before deciding whether a case exists. But Kanu says the court did not do so, leaving his defense at a disadvantage. Another issue raised in the appeal is the trial court's rejection of his no-case submission, a request that the charges be dismissed because the prosecution had allegedly failed to prove anything substantial. Kanu argues that the court did not properly examine the issues raised in this submission. Instead, he claims the court simply dismissed it without carefully reviewing whether the charges were valid under the law or whether the prosecution's case had enough strength to continue. Kanu's appeal further argues that he was denied the chance to defend himself fully. According to him, he had already prepared a list of witnesses to testify on his behalf. He made it clear he was ready to present his defense immediately after the court determined two key issues: whether it had jurisdiction and whether the charges against him were legally valid. But instead of addressing these points, the trial court ruled that it would only decide on them later, during judgment. To Kanu and his legal team, this meant he was blocked from presenting his defense, which they describe as a violation of his right to a fair hearing. With all these concerns laid before the Court of Appeal, Kanu is asking the higher court to act quickly. His request is simple: stop the lower court from delivering its judgment until these issues are fully resolved. To him, anything less would be unjust. This development has sparked fresh discussions nationwide. The November 20 judgment date had already captured the attention of Nigerians at home and abroad. Many people have been counting down to it, hoping for clarity on a case that has been filled with tension, debate, and political sensitivity. The sudden appeal has now thrown everything into uncertainty, raising questions about what will happen next. Public reactions have been mixed. Supporters of Kanu see the appeal as a necessary step to ensure fairness and transparency. They argue that justice must follow the right process, especially in a case that affects national conversations and emotions. On the other hand, critics believe the move is another attempt to delay the trial. They insist the court should be allowed to deliver its judgment as planned. Meanwhile, legal analysts say the issues raised are serious and could influence the future direction of the case. Across the country, people watch closely. Every new development in Kanu's legal journey sparks intense discussions online and offline. Communities debate, commentators analyze, and families gather around televisions waiting for updates. The case has become more than a legal matter. It has grown into a national story that touches politics, ethnic concerns, security issues, and public sentiment. Now, all eyes turn to the Court of Appeal. It will decide whether Justice Omotosho can continue with the judgment or whether everything must pause until the appeal is determined. The outcome will shape the next chapter of a case that has held the country's attention for years. For now, the only certainty is uncertainty. Nigerians wait, supporters remain hopeful, critics stay alert, and the nation prepares for whatever decision comes next, knowing the impact will be felt far beyond the courtroom. This new development has created a lot of reactions. For weeks, many Nigerians and even people outside the country have been waiting for November 20. This case is one of the most discussed legal battles in Nigeria. The sudden twist has now made everything uncertain again. Kanu's supporters say this move is the right step. They believe the court must follow the correct process before making any final decision. They say fairness should come first, but others think this is another delay tactic. They argue that the judge should be allowed to give his ruling as planned. Across Nigeria, the story is once again a hot topic. People are talking on social media, in homes, in offices, in markets, and on the streets. Every new update in Kanu's case brings more debates and more questions. Now, all eyes are on the Court of Appeal. The judges will decide whether to let Justice Omotosho continue with the November 20 judgment or to pause everything until Kanu's appeal is dealt with. Whatever they choose will shape the next stage of this long and emotional case. For now, Nigerians wait. Supporters remain hopeful, critics stay alert, and the whole country prepares for whatever comes next, knowing it will affect more than just the courtroom. It will influence public opinion, politics, and national conversations for months to come.